no cussing.
Do what?
No cussing.
Did I cuss?
No.
Oh.
It's always me. That's what I always
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Everybody else. Yeah, I'm always the one.
We
that-
go live now, so she's doing a mic check.
So that
So-
way, when
So we
time
still
comes-
talk, but
I'm used to singing country music, so if somebody would give me a C, I'll do you a Merle Haggard song. Real
oh
quick.
yeah. I can't give you a C, but
Well, yeah.
You give me you give me I'll break into Merle songs in a heartbeat, man. That's what I used to do, you know.
Right.
Played country music all my life. In real estate after I got older, but I was on the road.
yeah, we got about 45 seconds.
But yeah, I'm anxious to see how my test plots progress throughout the
Yeah.
growing season, what's working best, and basically, economically, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. Mine still looks good. I've just been going around with this old piece of a section hire, just trying to make room for posts on the outside.
Best it's ever
You know, the
been.
inside.
In my opinion, and I've
You know,
been to
Pretty
him
thick.
Oh gosh, yeah.
for 30
I need
years.
right outside.
And for
I need
something
to
about, I don't know,
contact
I just thought it was as
Yeah,
good
well,
as it
I
ever
need to
was.
bring
That's
you
just
something,
me.
because I need to do that for dang sure.
At some point,
It's
I'll
hard if Aunt Bertha passed away.
For sure.
Back in there. But I mean, she
Somebody's phone's ringing. All right, we got about 5 seconds.
was together, man. She was,
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that might be my work phone for Chickasaw.
it's all for a good cause.
All right.
Here we go.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Landreth.
I'm Bubba Spencer.
And I'm Keith Haywood.
Hey, we want to welcome y'all to another Tennessee Outside Facebook Live show, coming to you live from the Dr. R.E. Wilhite building here at the Hardeman County Agribusiness Center in Bolivar, Tennessee. And as we always say, if you hunt fish in Tennessee, this is the show you really need to watch. Hey, we will be taking questions tonight. If anybody's got anything, our guest is Hardeman County Mayor Todd Pulse, Chickasaw Ranger Scott Easley. Scott's been on here several times with us. We're going to talk about some upcoming events this weekend, because it's a lot of things going on throughout the state. That is for sure.
Scott might, he's pushing one of our most.
I don't think he's got Jeremy
He
Dennison
doesn't have
beat.
Jeremy, but he's getting there.
Yeah, he's getting there.
getting there.
That's for sure. As being our
Oh,
most frequent guest.
Yeah.
Keith, you want to give a shout out to the sponsors real quick, bro?
Absolutely, I will. I'm trying to get everything lined up here. Y'all excuse me. All right, we have Apex Outdoor Rewards. That's our premier sponsor. Deception Scents, Baker Glass Shop, Second Amendment Outdoors, Big Hill Pond Boat Sales and Repair, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. We have Lynnhurst Family Resort, Prym1 Camo, Threeway Processing, Wildlife Addiction Food Plot Services, and also, as always, a shout out to Brian Harford and the Crappie Addicts Facebook page.
I noticed he's got a store going down there too, somewhere in Florida, and it's got a lot of stuff in it.
Really?
Yes. Hey, also want to give a shout out to the Facebook groups that allow us to share to their page. And it's, you know, I mention it every week, but the Tennessee Deer Hunter, it has been reinstated. I mean, so we're going live to over about 73,000 people just on that one page right now. But if you're watching on another page, you know, if you're going to try to join the Tennessee Deer Hunter page, if you don't answer the questions, you will not be allowed to be in the group. So I've never seen as many people trying to get into that group as it is right now. I mean, normally everybody waits till August from that time Velvet Hunt jumps in, but, you know, it's 50 to 100, you know, at least 50 a day trying to get in,
Yeah.
which that's surprising. But anyway, Tennessee Deer Hunters, West TN Deer Hunters, Tennessee Woods and Waters, Tennessee Turkey Hunters, Middle Tennessee Coyote Hunters, Tennessee Small Game Hunting and Fishing, Tennessee Outdoors and Hunting, Hunt Swaps of America, Tennessee Hunting and Fishing Reports, Tennessee Outdoor Info, Hunting for Connections, Southern Boys 870, True Hunters and Anglers, Bow Hunters of America, our biggest group, about 235,000, Tennessee Rivers and Lakes, East Tennessee Deer Hunters, Real West Tennessee Sportsmen, Tennessee Valley Sportsmen, and Tennessee Bow Hunters. Keith, you want to hit the rest of them, bro?
Absolutely. We have Kentucky Whitetail Hunters, that was established August of 2015. West Kentucky Deer Hunters, Do a Country Jig, Pickwick Lake Anglers, Crappie Cats, Bass and More, Gamekeepers and Food Plots, Pickwick Lake Fishing Reports, Turkey South, Backwood Hunting and Fishing, Wildlife Hunter Association, Whitetail Snipers, Feathers and Fur, Camel Thug Outdoors, Bluntville Tennessee Deer Hunters, Back to the Roots Outdoors, Down to Earth Hunting, Tennessee turkey hunters, and Hatchie River fishing bank posts.
That's a lot of groups.
That's a lot of groups. And I'm going to tell you, I've noticed, thank you to all the people that watch. I mean, there's a guy on here from Illinois right now. There's so many people from different states.
I know. I like it when they chime in what state they're from.
That's exactly right.
I mean, we used to have some, matter of fact, it was a guy had a radio show that reached out to me and Bubba and JR. You remember?
He was from Canada?
Yeah, from Canada, over in British Columbia. Yeah. Give us some good tips, too, for the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
He really did.
Thank you to everybody.
Yes.
We're here for y'all.
Yep. Bubba, this is something you and I and Keith, we talk about every week, and boy, it's getting worse, and it's real sad.
And we had 2 more fatalities this past weekend.
On Tennessee waterways.
Tennessee waterways, one at Percy Priest Lake, and then one at Norris Lake.
And that makes 5 on Percy Priest Lake this year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've been on Percy Priest. We do TV shows up there at night, and it does not surprise me because that lake is as busy at night as Pickwick is in the daytime.
Really?
Yes.
I've never been there.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, it's a pretty lake. It's beautiful, but 5 in 1 year. And Bubba, do you know any details?
The details I do know. One was a jet ski, a personal watercraft, and a boat collided.
So we know. So that probably wouldn't have mattered if I imagine he had a life vest on anyway.
He probably did on the jet ski, and he didn't survive. And then we had another one where individual was outside the boat trying to swim the boat in. It had died, and he succumbed to some issues.
That's so sad. But that makes 12 this year.
12.
And it seemed like every Tuesday we come on, especially this time of year, sadly, some of the people that may be watching us right now, they may done, good Lord may call them home before next week, But just be careful when you're on the waterway like that. Hey, we want to announce, too, that this Saturday is Free Fishing Day in Tennessee.
Yeah. Everybody this Saturday.
Yep, that's anybody. And I don't guess it matters even what state you're from, does it, or does it, Bubba? I don't know. You got to be a Tennessee resident?
I want to look that up because I think it does matter.
It may do it.
I think it does matter.
But at least if you're a Tennessee resident, on Saturday, you can fish for free. If you're 15 and under, you can fish the whole week for free. Because once you turn 13, you have to have a junior fishing license or a hunting license, either one, really. But
no, resident or non-resident.
No, okay. I was thinking it was. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
So, if you're from Mississippi, Kentucky, Arkansas, you want to come to Tennessee and fish Saturday, you can come fish. If you're 15 and under, you can fish all week till next Friday.
Yes, that's correct.
That's great.
So, it's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah. I mean, because that gives a lot of people. I mean, of course, I'm sure it'll be a lot of agents on all the waters because, this time of year, with all the boating and now the fishing, and speaking about with the free fishing, there is a lot of fishing rodeos going on.
Yeah.
Scott, you got one going on at Chickasaw this week. Let's talk about it this weekend.
I do. We've had this for about 8 years straight now. So basically what we're doing with the Chickasaw Fishing Rodeo is registration starts at 8 a.m. down by the swimming area.
Is it Lake Placid?
It's at Lake Placid at the main area of the park. Registration starts at 8 o'clock. We do need all the kids to sign up there with us. Fishing actually starts at 9 o'clock. Had to fish from the bank, but you can fish anywhere around the lake you want to. There's no size or creel limits for the fishing rodeo, so the kids can catch and keep whatever they want. Don't have to put anything back.
What's the age limits?
We're going to do, it's 16 and under. So there's 2 age groups.
So that means I can't go up there and catch 100 crappie.
Right. That's not going to work. But if from 13 to 16, it's one age group for prizes, and 12 and under is separate prizes for them. So biggest and small, biggest fish, most fish wins the grand prizes for each division. Every kid's going to get something. We've got prizes to give every single kid that comes up there and signs up for it.
That's awesome.
Y'all put on a lot of events out there. It seems like annually, y'all, from January to January, it seems like y'all were doing something for the community.
We try to have several big events every year.
Now, don't y'all have some more stuff going on this weekend, or is that next week?
Yeah, well, pretty much starting from this weekend on throughout the summer. There will be programming for kids and adults just about every day. It'll be posted on our Facebook page every week. For this weekend, it hasn't got posted quite yet, but I expect it to be on there within the next day or so. But it'll be arts and crafts. There'll be birds programs where you can see our different hawks and owls and things. There are also snake programs where you can see our snakes be able to bark. So it'll be pretty much all day on the weekends, and then pretty much during the week too now throughout the summer.
Will the people be able to get close to the snakes? I'm just curious.
They'll be able to touch the snakes if they like to.
Really? Do you have any venomous snakes at
Don't
all?
have to worry about
We do
that
not.
with me.
No venomous snakes.
It'll be a Brooks King snake that they'll be seeing.
Okay. Would that be the only kind, basically?
That's the only kind that we have at the park for people to actually be able to touch and see.
Okay.
And for those that are campers that are watching that may have not been at Chickasaw in the last several years, all the new campsites, I hooked up all the power for all the new campsites when they were done, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's room to park anything from. I mean, last time I was there was a bus converted into a camper.
Right.
So if you can pull it, if you can get it in there, the sites are beautiful, the ground's kept up beautiful. It's just a great place to camp.
I will say this about the camping. We've been so busy here lately with that if you want to come out and camp, be sure to make a reservation ahead of time.
Make a reservation, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you're probably booked up. I went down for the whole summer.
You can find dates here and there throughout the summer. It's really hard to find them on a weekend though, especially in the actual RV campground. That campground stays booked almost every weekend.
The thing that surprises me about the RV campground, because I used to love it when y'all had that archery range. It went down through the woods like a golf course. I used to go up there and shoot it all the time.
I
But
did too when I was a teenager.
the amount of people that you would see from all over the United States at Chickasaw. I mean, every state in the Union.
I've met people from every state and almost every country.
I wouldn't doubt that. I didn't know about country, but I know I've seen people, from California, Washington, Oregon, all the way up through there. Maine.
So many people have those nice pull-behind campers now. They just travel around to different places.
And they just look for a spot
Yep.
to stay for the night.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Last time I was there, we were running tests on all our equipment throughout the campground, and I was just looking at tags. That's usually what I do, and they were from, multiple states.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Even some from as close as even Shelby County, but they were from all across the country.
Yeah. People book family reunions there.
Yeah, it's
A
beautiful
lot of
place.
things
It's
out
a
there, and they can
beautiful place.
ride
Oh,
the
yeah.
horses. There's a lot of activities
What,
there.
they still rent Lake LaJoy out for the. How is that for the week or weekend? How does that go?
It has to be for at least 2 days if you rent it, but it's 2 days to however long you want it, however long we have it available. But any group can rent that. And it's 16 cabins, pool, kitchen, and mess hall, dining area. I also get Lake LaJoy itself with it.
How much is that for? I remember at one time it was, I think, $750, and you got all that cabin and the lake, everything.
Yeah,
Now, that was a few years back, so I'm sure the way everything is, it's higher now. But do you have any idea what it is now?
off the top of my head, I don't know the exact price, and I really don't want to tell everybody, but it's not too far off from what you just said.
Yeah, that's what I remember. At one time, it was $750.
And that's for 16 cabins.
Yes.
And the guest hall.
and
the lake.
and the lake. And so
If
when
you've
you
never been there, do yourself a favor
Yeah,
and just
that's-
ride through that park and check it out.
do the cabins have air conditioners in them now?
They do.
They do. They used to. I remember when they didn't have
Oh,
air
they didn't when I
conditioners.
first got there, but
Yes.
they have been updated a little bit.
Man, and I mean,
You think about that for a family reunion.
Yes.
Man, you just go get a building for a night. It costs you that much.
That's right.
Yeah, it seems like.
yes, and I mean, you get the whole park to yourself when
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah. Weddings, all kind of activities out there. We've seen it all.
Yeah, I imagine so. Well, Todd, you're sitting up here and somebody's going, well, why's Todd here? What's some of the goals that you'd like to do? I know
here's
what,
Todd.
you and I talked
You
about
didn't-
one.
You didn't even give him his time.
Yeah,
Well,
Todd Pulse is the Hardeman County Mayor here. I'm not bad on that, Todd. I guess, when we know you like that, we forget some people don't, but
Well, I'm just glad to be here, and I just want to say I support outdoor activities, and I would I'd like to see more in Hardeman County, and whatever we can do to help make sure that happens. I'm in favor of it. I support it. I was going to ask about the boat safety. Are there classes that you have to be registered for and do that before you can get a license?
You
or
do.
are those
You do if you're under. What's the age?
18.
under 18?
No.
it's after you're born. I think it's 1988, isn't it? 89?
Oh, it's 89.
89.
I thought it was
I'm
88 or
sorry.
89.
Okay.
Anybody born after 89 has to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
which is getting on up with age now. So,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
like the hunter safety, it was what 69,
69.
wasn't it?
69.
Yeah.
Because we used to take the hunter safety courses, but so many people, you're just talking about the 5 fatalities, and
Yeah.
Well, that's 12, 5 on one lake.
on one lake.
Yeah.
And they range in age.
Oh yeah, it's
You know,
all different ages
it's
when
just-
that happens. But Bubba, y'all do boating education right here in this building, right where we are right
did one
now.
last year in this building.
Yeah.
And like where I work, in our safety manuals, it's no different than the safety manual that you have for boating and hunting. They're written in blood, basically. I mean,
Oh,
that's why
yeah,
they're
well,
there.
that's
It's
right.
because
Yeah.
that happened to somebody, and that rule was put in place for that reason.
Yeah.
And they're there to follow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
You know, we
say-
just when it comes to boating, we have an uphill battle to fight with. Everybody thinks it's a party instead of, and you
Yeah.
know, with party comes alcohol.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
and that's an uphill battle that we're constantly trying to fight. You know, to try to get people to let's just leave the alcohol and the drugs elsewhere,
That's
not
right.
not on the water.
Because I mean, you know, especially on the weekends like that, and you know, we all know what happened at Pickwick a couple years ago. Because I know I was up there filming a catfish tournament.
Yeah.
You know, when that man and little girl got killed, and unfortunately, the guy that hit him, he's serving time in prison right now.
Well, you see, just when you said Pickwick, there's been so many. I was on a different one.
Yeah.
There's been so many accidents at the Pickwick area in that area.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with them all.
And speaking of that, I mean, July 1st, for a lot of people that don't know, if you're watching, and we're going to try to get somebody on here, I guess, Bubba, to try to talk about some of
Some
that.
of the new boating laws
Is
coming
the
in
new
effect.
boating laws that go into effect on July the 1st that Governor Lee signed that takes effect then. And, I mean, some of them, I mean, they got some teeth in them.
They do.
So, you know, need to make sure basically it's a BUI on the waters just like on land. They're going to add up, you know, to multiple offenses. And,
One and the other is the same.
yeah.
They're essentially the same.
And the county needs to get that word out. It needs to be on Facebook. It needs to be on all the social media sites. And to get people, I mean, the more information that can be out there, it could save a life or anything you could do.
That's what we're trying to do. I think it's
That's
been
right.
several years since we've had one on the Hatchie River.
Yeah, I was trying to think. It's probably been.
That I know who the last one was, but I think it's been about 4 or 5 years or more.
I think I was going to say a decade. It's been a while.
Is it? It's been that long?
Yeah, I
okay.
think it has.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Down off 18.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And that's the last one.
And
that,
you know, sometimes we disregard rivers like the Hatchie, but they can be very dangerous, if
Oh.
not more so than some of the others when that water really gets to rolling.
There's been one since I've been here on the Hatchet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, you know, on the weekends, we're really having a lot of the kids, well, I say kids, but a lot of people are getting on the Hatchie. They're not going to the Tennessee River stuff. They're putting their John boats on the Hatchie and meeting up at sandbars.
well, they're been doing like we always used to do when we were kids.
and there's
you know.
nothing wrong with that.
No,
Look,
heck
look,
no.
hey,
Some of
you
the
know,
funniest times of my life.
That's a much better place to be than a lot
Been
of
down below
places
Dr.
that could
Barnes, me and David Sipes, Alan Baker, and
Yeah.
I mean, we'd ride our bikes down there, and we might not come home for 2 or 3 days. You know, I mean, our parents knew that's what we was.
But for those of us, and that's what we're circling back to, is those of us that know that river the way we do,
Yeah.
know how dangerous the Hatchie River can be.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, for a newcomer to get on the Hatch River, you can always tell if somebody's a newcomer when they're putting in a Ranger fiberglass boat out on 64, and you just want to pull up there and say,
Don't do
you
it.
really don't want to
Yeah,
do
it's not
that
worth
because
it.
it's not going to end.
And, you know, speaking of dangerous rivers, I was on the Mississippi this past weekend, and you know
It is low.
The current on the Mississippi is just you will move so quick on the Mississippi if something bad happens. And
Well, you know something else on the Mississippi River right now. I saw on
getting-
TV
it's
the other day. You got all those sandbars.
Yes.
And I can remember. I think it was 1987. I lived in Ripley. You know, it was people out on the sandbars, vehicle gone, never found. People's. It's like quicksand because you know the way that river's shifting up under there, and that's it.
You end up in the Mississippi River, you're in a bad way quickly.
And there's a lot of dikes.
A lot of the rock dikes.
Oh, yeah.
If you get your boat on,
You go,
you can be
you know,
very.
you're running 30, 40 mile an hour down through there, and you hit one of those.
Yes.
Doesn't
Yeah,
do
because
well
those things
at
will
all.
extend out to
Well, yeah,
300 yards.
yes.
And a lot of people don't know, number one, where they are or what to look for to identify where they are.
Yep.
And that's where some of your major problem is.
And that's where, you know, a lot of the people that don't know how to understand buoys, buoy markers.
That's right.
It's very important on the Mississippi to know where you are at all
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Well, Todd, what about the Hatchie River? We've kind of touched on it. I know you kind of have a goal, and Mike Butler talked about it when he was on our show, but trying to get the Hatchie River on the National Scenic Register.
I'm in full support of that. Whatever I could work with Mike to do, I think it's a great idea. That'll bring more people, more attention to Hardeman County and what we have to offer. I think it'll bring in more federal money, and it'll help us in the long run.
I know we're the only scenic river, I think, southeast United States.
Yeah,
or is it
we're
this side of the
I know
Mississippi
we're the
River?
only one left in Tennessee.
Yeah,
pretty
no, we are
much.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, has it been disturbed?
Channelized.
Channelized.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 238 miles.
238, 233, something like that. It's in that range, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever we can do to keep it that way.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Because,
I'm in support of that.
the last thing, I don't know when, I think Horseshoe, I think it was blowed out, I think in the late 60s, I think. And then the dynamite ditch down going toward Hatchie Station. You can see it if you look on the map.
Yeah.
That thing is just, I think it's
Straight.
a mile long.
It's
It's just straight shot.
I mean, it's,
Yeah. Sure is. Because there's some dang good sloughs on each end of
That's
it.
right.
But I snuck in there and fished them. I don't know if I was supposed to or not, but I sure caught a lot of crappie out of them.
You know what's amazing on the Hatchie? You'll be going downriver, and one minute you're going north, and then you're going west, and you're going back south.
That's right.
And then
Yeah.
you're cutting back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
you never know. Even though you continue going one.
the one thing
downriver, it
about
can
the
change.
Hatchie, if you're down there during duck season and the water's out and the sun goes down on you, it's even kind of hard to figure out where you are by watching the current.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
it
it
can
can get you a
go
little
in
twisted.
every
Three different directions.
way.
It gets you twisted.
Yeah.
I mean, I know myself, David Sipes, Roger King, we was down there at Harris Pond one day duck hunting, and of course it got dark on us and started sleeting. We didn't find the river channel till about 10 o'clock that night, and I tell you, that's pretty creepy. 15 degrees and you're out in that backwater and it's high and moving and you don't know where you are.
I don't know if you saw. I was on the Hatchie. I guess it was last week, and was down there doing some patrol, and
Yeah, I saw
Ran
it
into
at 64.
I was at 18 on that day. I ran
Okay.
into a water snake that was
I saw that.
about head level.
Yeah, I saw that. Well,
Yeah,
when I
those are
first
the
saw
ones
it, I thought it was a gray rat snake.
And it might have been.
I think it was.
It was in that tree, and I couldn't.
There was an anaconda.
Those rat snakes.
anaconda.
Those rat snakes are more apt to get up high like
Yeah.
that. But that's how you end up with a snake in the boat.
That's exactly right.
I'll tell you how that. Yeah, I was floating buffalo one time and went up under some limbs, and I'm scared of snakes, of course, and
No.
oh man, snake came in the boat,
come
so
in the boat.
he was in the boat, and I jumped out.
Left the boat.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I left the boat. I said, "Well, you can have the boat." So,
Yes, sir. I'd be
man,
right beside
it
you.
was, yeah.
But that's just one thing when you're on the Hatchie. You got to be cognizant when you're going underneath those limbs
Right.
and stuff. That you,
The only good thing, I'm not saying cottonmouths don't get up on the
in
limbs,
general, they don't.
but in general, that's
Generally,
right.
don't.
Most of your cottonmouths are going to be on the ground.
It's more than likely going to be a rat snake that falls.
Or a water snake.
Or a
Water,
water snake.
snakes will stay up in them. Of course, you got your common water snake, your diamondback water snake, but mostly that's what's going to fall out in the boat. And if it's those diamondback water snakes, 9 out of 10 people will swear them down. That's cottonmouth.
Yeah, they're going to
Because
scare you so bad you're not going to.
yes, because that's what got me at Chickasaw one day. I was at Lake LaJoy and I got bit, and over by the bridge when you first come in. And when it hit me, it was like somebody hit me with a baseball bat right below my knee. And I looked down, and I saw the snake, and I saw blood just pouring out from my leg. But when I wiped it, I was so glad to just see kind of like a horseshoe-shaped row of teeth, because I knew it wasn't venomous then. Of course, and I saw the snake, and he crawled off. And I was with Sipes. He said, "Man, you all right?" And I said, "I don't know. I probably need to go clean my underwear or something, man, because it sure scared me. I'm not gonna lie, because
Yes, sir.
yeah, if I'd looked down and saw 2 fang marks on there, it wouldn't have been good.
It'd been serious real quick, yeah.
They just about claim you can take a year off your life if you get bit by cottonmouth for sure.
Let me get this question.
All right, go
Anthony.
ahead.
It says, why isn't a boating safety class mandatory like driver's ed with boating courtesy, which sides you safely pass on, etc., that you have to complete the course to own or pilot a boat? It is mandatory if you're born after 1989.
That's
but
right.
not before then. And
Yeah.
that was just, the lawmakers came up with that particular cutoff.
Yeah.
So, sort of like our hunter safety It's mandatory after 69, but
Yeah.
not before.
So
Why
who?
is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
That's what that was
Legislature passed.
legislature passed it as
Yeah.
as
Everybody's
89.
making such stupid mistakes and they're driving all over the place.
Yeah, but most of the time when those laws are made like that,
Yeah.
there's a grandfather clause
Grand-
period in there that
Yeah.
you know if and that's just the way it is.
But
'cause
think about it, now if you're born after 89, you were what 30,
Well,
33 years
Oh,
old.
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're no longer kids; it's young adults. That are
Right.
All mandatory.
And same way with the hunter safety, I mean, after 1969.
69. Yeah.
But, Bubba, you and I've talked about it. I know, I guess it's still close, but the average age of the Tennessee hunter is what, 53?
Yeah, 53.
I know it's what it
Yeah.
was 2 years ago.
I'm still a little below average.
And speaking of the boating safety course, for the people that are going to take it, it is a very difficult course because it has to meet all the Coast Guard criteria that all the other states have.
Right. So it's not just a TWRA
No.
course, it's a Coast Guard
It's got to
course.
be Coast Guard approved
Okay.
course, and so it's one of those courses you have to study and you have to understand the rules of the road on the water, the buoys.
Yeah.
It's
So if
pretty
once you
complicated.
take that course, are you basically good anywhere in the United States?
Well, it varies from state to state.
Does it? Even though
Yes.
it's Coast Guard
Yes.
approved course,
Yes.
it still varies?
Yes,
Okay.
you have to check another.
Like on the ocean?
I think, the ocean, once you get so far off of the coast, then that
that's-
falls into,
Federal waters.
that's
You
right.
have a boat on Chesapeake Bay and you go out into the ocean.
But that would be federal waters.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure on federal waters.
Well, the Coast Guard is the one that does that
Yeah.
because I got a nephew. What he used to do, he was out in the federal waters like that,
Yeah.
but he basically did your job out
On the
there.
federal waters,
Keep up
right.
because the limits and size of all the fish
Yeah.
is totally different.
Different in
from,
federal.
when you're in so many. I'm going to say yards or miles from the shoreline.
Yeah.
That because then once you get out,
That's a whole different
right.
regulation after that. It
That's
leaves
right.
the states' waters and becomes the federal waters.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. It sure does.
Some states may practice reciprocity that would recognize a state's license, but you'd have to go to that different state to see which ones practice that.
Pretty much, it's the states that touch each other. Tennessee, I know, has that with Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, Arkansas.
Yeah, just about every state that touches us to some.
Yeah, to some degree,
Degree.
anywhere kind of more that the Tennessee River or Mississippi River touches, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, then it depends on what ramps you put in, whether and also how far they go down, because some of them they'll normally have a highway or a bridge marker that once you get past that, you have to have that particular state's license.
Yeah, looking here at the reciprocal agreements, we've got Alabama, Mississippi's got one with us, Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, North Carolina, and Virginia.
Yeah.
All have different reciprocal agreements.
So I guess I didn't hear you say Georgia. Georgia
No,
must
no,
not have one.
Georgia does not have one.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that, I know in Brownsville, you can go to the library there to take your
Yep.
boater safety. I'm not sure about Hardeman County. I
Yeah,
don't-
you can
it's
go to about
library.
any library to do it.
They take it online. Mm-hmm. Okay. But do they still have in-person courses,
They do.
Bubba?
They do.
Is there one planned here anytime or?
I don't know when the next one that's coming up in this area.
Let us know if you don't mind.
Yeah,
My son
I
is
don't know when the
going to
next
take
one.
the course.
Yeah.
You know,
What about hunter
One
safety?
guy just said that he had to study about sailboats.
That's
to
right.
pass it. and
Yeah.
He failed it on the first try.
Yeah, it's tough.
There's a lot of
It's
fails in the first
you
try.
got to know all those.
Yeah. Yeah,
A
because
lot of people don't take any classes. it
Well.
seems like.
well,
you learn, and look, if you're not a boater, if you weren't raised in a boat, you don't know a lot about boat safety anyway.
no, and then especially if you get on big water where you do have sailboats, buoys, and stuff like that.
Like Pickwick.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you really need to know those things because when you throw, I think those jet skis and stuff probably throwed more of a wrench than anything in the last 30 years. Probably it changed the landscape of the water of the
Man,
big
it
lakes.
just-
I guess to
yes.
say.
I mean, just jet skis, just by the nature of their business, their quick turnarounds, quick cuts. It just lends itself to increase
Yeah,
accidents.
it can go south quick.
Quick.
that's
Quick.
Tracy and I carried. We have a new one, and we carried ours out Saturday, and she was driving, and you know, we were just, I'm steadily talking to her the whole time. You know, let's turn around here, but let's look for this.
Yeah.
And she did amazing. You know, she did an amazing job. But you have to learn that stuff.
Because sometimes, you know, those jet skis can be on you, just like, I know it was a bad motorcycle wreck right up by Bull Market today.
You're talking about something that'll run 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, I know.
That if you turn and and if you're in a pontoon, the time it takes you to turn, they're there.
Especially if you're turning left and they're coming up behind you or right, and you know, I mean,
they get there pretty quick.
Yes, they sure do. You got something else, Bubba?
Yeah, I know.
Let's go on, because we got about 2 minutes
We'll
before break.
stick with the water here. It says, what's going on with the Spring Creek Lake project?
Yeah, Todd, is since you took over, I know, you know, I was part of that, but you know, when Jimmy was in there, but is that kind of dead right now?
From what I understand through the state,
Okay.
it is, and I haven't been updated on it recently, but that was the last updates that I got was from the state, and they said there was no money appropriated for that project, and it was dead basically right now.
Okay.
From lack of funds.
Yeah.
And funding, even in some areas from the state, they thought were put into the budget, and then it was taken out when they did an amended budget. As all of you know how budgets can go from the state on the state level. So things were taken out, thought that were in there. So that's the latest that I have right now.
Okay. But I do know that, you know, the Bill Dance Signature Lake projects come along. What are about 12 or 13 of them? Yeah. They're in the front of the book, and of course, one of them that is designated is just, you know, in McNair County, down there, Big Hill Pond. You know, that's going to be Herb Parsons is one of them. Yeah. Pickwick Lake. I mean, it's, you know, you probably sit in some of the meetings on them, but there's just a lot of those Bill Dance lakes. I mean, it's of course the 1,000-acre lake, Lake Hofford, and it is a fishing rodeo up there this weekend too. Browns Creek Lake, Herb Parsons, Travis McNatt. Pin Oak Lake, Woodhaven Lake, Acorn Lake, Fall Creek Falls. All of those are pretty much in West Tennessee, and then Poplar Tree Lake. No, that's another thing over there beside that. But those are the Bill Dance lakes right there. I mean, that's.
Where's that Pin Oak Lake?
Pin Oak is in up at Lexington on Natchez Track State Park.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. That's one of my main crappie holes up there.
And we could sit here for 5 weeks and talk about boat safety and you know, water.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's people are going to have to do a little better job.
Yeah.
We're on the water a lot.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What did we end up with last year, Bub? Was it 19 or 22 fatalities?
22.
Okay. And we got 12 so far, and we're not even halfway through the year
We're
yet.
just starting real boat season. Right
Yeah,
now.
it sure is. That's the bad part. Hey, we need to take a quick sponsor break. Apex Outdoor Rewards, our premier sponsor. Turkey season's winding down. I mean, they was in a lot of states this year. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, Wisconsin. You know, you can go to apexoutdoorrewards.com to sign up. I hadn't talked to Wade lately, but I'm pretty sure that there's going to be another outdoor rewards for deer season this year. And I know it's a buddy of mine, Garrett Tucker, I noticed on Facebook yesterday. He is in one of the running, because the way they do it is birds under 20 pounds, birds over 20 pounds, birds with beards over 10 inches, under 10 inches, and spurs a certain size too, over and under. So it's done pretty good. They dropped the price from 125 entry fee to 75 this year. You get the turkey tool if it's your first time. And if they do the deer hunt, I mean, that 4K camera you get with your first entry on that.
And it's fun. It's very challenging, and it's very rewarding at the same time.
Yeah.
You learn a whole lot about patience. It teaches you a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, the patience is right, because if you're sitting there trying to get it on film, you know, sometimes you may lose that deer, you know.
Absolutely. That's
But
part of it.
I mean, yeah, it's just part of it. Of course, I love filming anyway. I don't even have to pull the trigger. I love filming good hunts.
Yeah.
And one of the deer house you got, of course, we filmed a awesome turkey hunt in it this year. But, and you got too many deer up there, Keith.
No, sir. Can't have that.
Yeah, you got too many. I think I can eliminate some of them for you, or just one. That's all I want. Or I do want to come film though. Sure enough.
No, absolutely. We're going to have to do that for the show.
Hey, but like I say, you can go to apexoutdoorrewards.com to sign up. Deception Sense, we keep them up here all the time. One of our buddies that's on here with us a lot, Hoot Hazelgrove, his dog Diesel. People see it on Facebook a lot. Diesel got sprayed in the face by a skunk the other day. Jim Knuckles went and got a bottle of it out of Hoot's house, sprayed him down. Hoot said by the time he got home, he would let Diesel back in because it took the smell right off of him. But it's good stuff.
In his own words.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he called me to tell me about that. He sure did. And I know Terry Wharton's daughter Crystal. She had one the same way, and it took the smell off of that. But you know, they have the Pure Marine Deception Scent, Pure RV, Fast Gas, Pure 100. They have all kind of turkey calls, deer calls, duck calls. They're in the process of making many more. If you watch Bill Lance Outdoors, I mean, you'll see the Pure Marine because he endorses that. You can get it at Amazon. You can get the Pure Marine in about 2,100 Walmarts across the United States, and I think it's going to be coming to a whole lot more by fall.
So we're hoping to see this in stores this fall also.
That's exactly right. Hey, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, go to www.tnwildlife.org for information, and be sure to follow TWRA on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Threeway Processing, we called David in our pre-show meeting today because with deer season approaching, and we talk about it all the time, if David Tyndall does not process deer in West Tennessee, it's going to affect the whole outcome of the 2023 deer season.
9 or 10 counties.
That's right. I mean, there's some awesome processors, and I'm not, because we need all of them.
Yeah, we do.
But basically, if you knock either one of them out, it's going to be bad. But David has got something in the works, and he's not sure if he'll be up by the Velvet Hunt, but as soon as he nails something down in concrete, he will come on this show and tell us everything.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We have Baker Glass Shop. Stop by and see Corey Madden for all your glass needs, auto, big trucks, and heavy machinery. Contact Corey at 731-658-4510, and he's located at 321 East Market Street here in Bolivar, Tennessee. Second Amendment Outdoors, your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Guns, ammo, fishing tackle, clothes, boots, and much more. Mark Austin and his great staff will take good care of you. Contact Mark at 662-594-8687, and they are located at 2804A Highway 72 West in Corinth, Mississippi. Big Hill Pond Boat Sales and Repair. Go see Kenny Fortune for all your boat needs, sales, or repair. He also has firearms and fishing tackle. Contact Kenny at 731-645-4384, and he is located at 9282 Highway 57 in Raymer, Tennessee. We have Lynnhurst Family Resort. Lynnhurst is located on the Blood River in the inlet of Kentucky Lake. You can stay in one of their cabins, condos, in the motel, or at one of their campsites. They also have pontoons, jet skis, and golf cart rentals. Book by calling Dennis Helmuth at 270-436-2345 or 606-341-3399. And from what I understand, they're still offering a discount if you called a book and you mentioned you heard about Lynnhurst Resort from watching this show, you get a discount for your stay.
And I think if you rent a boat during the week, it's 10% off.
That's correct. I believe that's right. Let me see here. Here we go. I'm trying to catch up with myself there. You have Prym1. We have Prym1 Camo, the ultimate concealment solution for the outdoorsmen and women that need to blend into their surroundings. Go to prym1camo.com and check out all their products. Their 20% off code is Hero1. And then you have myself, which is Wildlife Addiction Food Plot Services. You can contact me at 731-780-4868 or 731-780-6426. And as you know, as always, we offer a full line of food plot services. We can plant anything from clover to corn. We're getting ready to start planting some corn. We bush hog. We do farm consult work. If you need it, we can do it. We can even come till your garden up for you if you need to. So give us a call. We'll be happy to help you out.
You just need some rain, don't you?
I need some rain pretty bad. I sure do.
Yeah. I guess the lack of rains helps you kind of get caught up, hadn't it?
It did. I was in a mad dash there for about 4 or 5 weekends trying to get caught up, and I'm real close.
All right.
It's great.
Bubba, what you got over there?
Well, we got a quick question that Randy Walls wanted to know. Update on the Brighton High School fishing team.
Okay, I believe the Wisconsin the national championships, I believe it's next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
I thought
and it's a good thing you said that because I meant to talk about it last week. You know, when those guys, Jackson and Jack was on here with us. Okay.
They're watching, by the way.
Yeah, well, hey, good luck, guys. But
Yep.
I just want to let everybody know, I mean, just during our show, we took up over $1,500.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was a little over $1,500. But I talked to Coach Tillman, and the last time I talked to him, they had taken up over $6,000
Wow.
to help
Great.
pay for their trips up there
Unfortunately, the night they were
We are
here,
leaving next Saturday.
Leaving next
next Saturday.
Saturday.
And then I know they'll fish for 4 or 5 days pre-fish, and then they'll do the tournament. And guys, you know,
it's not too late to send them some money.
Yeah.
oh, that's right, yeah, sure is.
We want them to go have a good time. And unfortunately, I was not present that night they were here. I didn't get to meet them, but I was working and I was watching the show. And I don't know if I've ever met, or I've never met them, or watched and listened to 2 young men
I'm telling you,
that were,
Bubba and I were amazed up here with us.
Amazing.
they were just 2 amazing young men. If you're watching, you know, good job to y'all.
Yeah.
And mom and dad, if you're all watching.
Yeah. They
keep
have to
up-
be proud.
Keep up what you're doing because it's working.
And I could relate to them because they've been friends since kindergarten. And when I asked Jack, I said, y'all ever slipped any places fishing? Yes, sir, we have. Because, boy, I can relate to that because I used to sneak to a bunch of them.
Yeah, no, they were funny now.
Oh, yeah. What's weird, I used to sneak to the lake I own now. But, yep, sure did.
I may sneak up there.
You can come on out there. That's fine.
We got one other question.
Okay.
We're going to go over it, then we'll go over again. Pete Boyd says, is the Asian carp and Alabama bass situation in Tennessee improving? Funny you should ask.
That's exactly
'Cause
right.
Next week, the whole show is going to be over those 2 issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're having fisher's biologist
Michael
Clark is coming in.
And we're going to
And-
talk about those specific issues.
And I know if you live in West Tennessee, you might not think much about the Alabama bass, but I'm telling you, you get over in East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee,
You get right there in the heart of it.
I hate to say it, but it's probably kind of like comparing to CWD. CWD in right here in our home, right here.
If you don't have it, you underestimate it.
Yeah.
And then when you have it, it's the Alabama bass and the hybridization of bass is going to change Tennessee fishing.
It sure will.
In the long run.
And you know, I don't know the time frame. That's a question I want to ask. What kind of time frame does he think? Because, you know, part of me I can see it happening quick.
Yeah.
And part of it I can see it maybe being a trickle. At least coming this way, a trickle.
I think the main thing is it going to be fish moving or going to be people moving fish that's going to ultimately determine the spread of it.
And what it's really going to affect is, you know, when you're having these tournaments, I mean, the size you weigh in, they're going to start shrinking, from my understanding. Is that pretty much kind of the way it is, Bubba?
Absolutely.
When they start, the size of the fish, once they start hybridizing like that.
Yeah, it seems to go smaller.
And
you know, most hybridization of species usually results in a larger animal, but not so in those fish.
And that's exactly what all I've been reading about and researched. So,
and the thing about it, you cannot tell by looking.
Yeah.
You can't. And now we're to the part where it's not a cross and a cross. It could be 5% this fish, 5% that, 5%
right.
this. You know, it'd be a 5% smallmouth.
Yeah, and I know from
Spotted
what I've read
Alabama,
and
just,
what
oh
you and
my
I've talked
gosh.
about, it may look like a full-blooded
Yes.
smallmouth,
And
and it not be hardly any smallmouth.
Yeah, it'd be less than 10% smallmouth.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where you cannot tell by looking at the fish, other than you can tell it's a bass.
So I guess what I wonder on that, from a game warden standpoint, that's going to be hard to figure out.
Oh yeah, there's going to have to be regulation changes in the future to address.
You know, I can see it
going
just
forward.
going maybe
Bass.
That's exactly right. Where you just have one fish, bass, and it's going to be a size limit.
And it's and the bass could look.
They said, no, that's a smallmouth.
From one to another.
Yeah.
The degree of bass. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, and I know this is on the Tennessee River and a lot of the smaller rivers too over in East Tennessee.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure where all it is.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I know from what I've researched about it, it's a lot of the smaller rivers over that way. Of course, the Tennessee River, but I'm sure when he gets here. But I'm kind of anxious too about the Asian carp. You know,
Yes.
you know, when we had Tim Broadbent on the show when we did on ESPN at Lexington, you know, he was thinking that there had only been like 2 spawns.
Yeah, I know, and so maybe Michael could fill us in a little bit better on.
Yeah, because I would like to know about that too. You know, if it has been other spawns, because that's been what 4 years ago, you know, or 5 years ago.
I had a couple
when we
jump up on the Mississippi when I was out there this past weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
Not a lot, but just a few.
Yeah. All right. You got any other questions?
Yeah, you know,
over
it's going back to the high school fishing teams. How many high school fishing teams do we have here in Tennessee? I wonder if
It is I don't know, but I can tell you what. You get up around Lebanon and Mount Juliet, up in that area, you have got some big sticks on the water up there.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Yeah.
amazing.
Jackson said, many to most colleges have teams.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
college teams too.
Yeah, we've had college.
Tennessee, Bethel College, Murray, Kentucky, North Alabama, Blue
Yeah.
Mountain.
Blue Mountain,
Ones
yep.
that Jackson
Yeah.
just typed out.
Yeah.
You would think a lot of your schools that
And
have
Mark.
big science projects or biology programs would, you know, with your skeet guys and your trap guys and your fishing guys,
Oh, yeah.
they offer a lot of scholarships for that.
Well, I know, you know, when we did the radio show on ESPN, we had Chandler Pruitt, Chase Milholland on there. We've had a J.D. Nolan, and I cannot remember his partner's name. You know, they was from Blue Mountain.
Blue Mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know Chandler is in Blue Mountain now. Chase is in on the Bethel team.
Okay.
Yep, he sure is. So
You know, going back to the Asian carp, you know, we got a few of them in the Hatchie. You know.
Asian carp. Oh yeah.
You can get them.
You put in 64 if you know where 64 ramp
You can
is,
get- you can get
and you
them
go
some.
upriver to around basically the first cutoff. We
Yeah.
called it up there.
Yeah, yeah,
when you
right.
make that hairpin curve,
If
you,
go
better watch out.
Especially if you
They're
go
coming
straight
above
and not
you,
make the hairpin turn and go up in there. They really seem to be
Yeah.
thick up in there.
Yeah, because I think that's where File had one knock his iPhone out, and it's still in the river
He
right
knocked- he
now.
lost
Yeah,
the iPhone
they,
away.
they were filming them, and you know
Yeah.
those things jump up.
Yeah.
And you know, and what's bad? You know, was it Illinois or somewhere? They was trying to pass a law if you was 16 and under, you had to wear a football helmet.
Yeah, it's just.
Hey, some of the
Yeah.
footage I've seen,
Because-
those things,
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a boat doing 70 miles per hour and a 20 fish comes up and hits you in the face,
20-pound fish
it's
will
not
hurt
going
you.
to it's
Yeah.
not going to be good.
No.
break bones.
Yeah.
Break necks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it could be a lot of injuries right there. Is that all you got
Yeah,
for
we
right
caught
now?
up. We caught up on questions.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, one thing we want to talk about. I think we got asked this last week. When do you sign up for
Yep.
WMA quota hunts? Because that is coming up.
That's coming up.
So if you're listening and you want to know about the WMA quota hunts, you can start signing up June the 14th. So you got about, 8 days.
Few days. Yeah.
And that goes until July 26th on that. And I imagine, I guess the elk hunts are in there too, aren't they? Or are they
I don't know.
different?
I don't know if they're in there. I don't know if they're separate or not.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
Also,
I'd have to
too, what is the Tennessee Wildlife? Is it Tennessee Wildlife Conservation or Federation is doing the raffle?
Raffle. Right.
Because I think that has already started, and I forgot how many dollars worth of prizes it is, but it's some dang good prizes in there.
And, you know-
I know I get a ticket every year,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
I've
do.
yet to win anything.
Yeah.
And you know, going back to those wildlife management draw hunts, you know, that President's Island, you know, if you have got some priority points,
It's going to take a bunch of them.
Yeah,
It's gonna take a bunch of them.
That's what I was doing, was pulling up. Everything's on the
Yeah.
website here,
Yeah.
showing you your
Yeah,
dates.
I bet you it's going to take at least,
I'd say 15.
we was talking last year. Well, I'm going to say 12 to 13 minimum.
yeah, I'm gonna say
Is
probably
what I'm
13.
thinking.
Of course, you never know,
Yeah.
you know, on how it shakes out. But I'd feel a lot better if you had 13.
Oh, yeah. Hey, another thing we want to just go ahead and announce. July 4th, that Tuesday, we will not be on the air that night. Pretty much every one of us has prior commitments, and so on July 4th, we will not be airing that night. I think that's the only second time we hadn't aired, maybe.
Second or third, it's not too many, but just happened to work. We have people on vacation. I have to work, so
Yep.
it's just not gonna be able to work
Yep.
out for us to be on.
So take your kids somewhere and enjoy fireworks.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, yeah.
Hey, and it's probably not going to be a big night for people to be
Right.
on Facebook either.
Yep.
Anyway.
Hey, another thing too, we was talking about in the pre-show, and we get asked a lot, why don't y'all do a show on this or that? If y'all have any suggestions, for
Yeah, just like Pete Boyd came in. A lot of times we take the questions and try to make a show of it, but Pete was thinking the exact same
Yep.
thing we thought of, and we try to find an expert to help us out.
to get the word out to
Get
everybody.
the word out on, and if y'all know of somebody or know of a subject
Yeah,
that you'd
yeah,
like for us to
a
discuss.
subject or an expert that we can
Yeah.
get, on the show to.
We sort of go a whole heavy into deer, turkey, and fishing, but there's a tons of other things to do on the outside
In Tennessee, you're exactly right. I know
Kayak
right
to
now.
hiking to it's endless.
We mentioned it earlier. Janet went kayaking this past
Yep.
week.
And kayaking has gotten very popular.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh,
It's
it's
an
getting
old
about
sport.
it's
Yeah.
almost getting as big as boating or bigger in some places.
Kids love it. My wife loves it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people know, of course, I drive for Bolivar Ford. Janet does too, for that matter. But, I was in Mount Vernon, Illinois Sunday. Today, I was in Huntsville, Alabama. But I saw two kayaks that come passing me. One of them had 3 of the depth finders, and I know one of them was a live scope,
on it.
Yes. And a lot of people don't realize, they are big kayak tournaments that pay out $100,000 just
Yep.
for one tournament.
My son has a depth finder. He has everything on his kayak. He fishes out of it every
Yeah.
chance he
Yes.
gets. Loves it.
And the thing about the kayak, you can get a lot of places a lot easier than you can with a bigger boat.
Yes, you sure can. And of course, we had Bridget on the show. She does the kayak tours on the Hatchie River. I think there's another one coming up. I don't know when it is, but I think it's going to be coming up pretty soon.
It's summertime. It's boat time. It's water time.
I know.
It's water
Water time
sports,
now.
fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, if you're doing water time and you're around the Hatchie River, watch for them cottonmouths. We call them Freddy No Shoulders, man. They're out there. I'm just going to tell you.
No shoulders.
Come on, Scott. You can get back up here with us.
I didn't know if you had to go or not. Where you were looking, I thought maybe you was to blow out of here.
No, you can come on.
There's been some interesting conversation on this before, and I'd like to bring it up if it'd be all right. When let's say you run off into a slough or into
Here we go.
You know where this
Yes,
is.
we know where this is
Yeah,
going.
we've been down
or,
this
how
road.
do you get out, different things. People say different things. If they can't bust the window out, or you're supposed to let the pressure go up in the cabin and all that type of thing.
Like if you run a vehicle.
Vehicle
off.
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and that's what happens to most people, but that is what you got to do. If you can get out, once you go in and that, if you got 10 inches of water on that door, whether it's open, the window's up or not, it's going to be hard to open. If that window's down, you need to try to get that seatbelt off and get out of there.
Yeah.
But because most people don't have I don't know what you would call it, because you got just a few seconds, but pretty much before you can open that door, that inside that car has to fill up to make the
Equalize
pressure
the
equal
pressure,
on both sides of the door. Then it'll open easy. But
Yeah.
how many people can sit there and wait, till
That's right.
it completely fills
Yeah,
up?
most
they're
people
gonna
panic.
That's exactly right.
Exactly what's
And
gonna
when they do, I guess the first thing you need to do is, if you do run off in water like that, undo that seatbelt as quick as you can. That's the first thing you need to do. And then, because the way that, most of your windows now, they're not the manual
Electric.
roll down,
You
they're
better
electric.
better get 'em
so
down.
you better be getting them down
Getting 'em
quick. Of course, I think Janet carries a tool where if she needs to,
Punch.
And your headrest, if you pull it off, the bottom of the headrest, they're made for poking through the
that's a good
That is a
Yeah.
very
point
good
right
point.
there
Good
too.
point. I didn't know that.
So you just pull it off and just ram it into the window and
Yep.
just break it.
This is one thing that I always do, especially if you're backing a boat down there. Always have both your windows rolled down.
Oh, yeah.
I always roll down
I
both
always do.
windows
It's
when I
just a
back a
habit of
trailer, just
Yeah.
in case somebody hollers at you.
Yes.
I do the same thing.
Because if you don't roll down your windows and you're backing at somebody, you whoa, 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 and you can back into
That's
something.
right. And, you know,
Yeah.
and the bad thing about that is
I always
it's
roll
bad
down
about
both
a
windows.
child being back there when you're
Yes.
backing them
Yeah.
up. I
Always.
think that happened in West Tennessee in the last week. And I mean, that's not good. But yeah, when you're around water, you know, I can remember several cars going off the bar pits out here going toward
I mean,
Hornsby.
we have them on Tennessee
Yeah.
River all the
Yeah.
time.
But I hate to say it, but if you panic like that and you can't get out of that seatbelt because you're in a hurry, and then once that water gets in there with the electric system, you know, window's not coming down,
That's right.
and you know, it's a scary thing to happen. I'm just going to tell you.
When I worked EMS back in the early 90s, I had to do a couple water rescues, flood water ditches.
Well, it's a scary thing if you're not prepared. If you're
Yeah.
prepared and you know what to do,
Yeah,
then
that's
you just
right.
go through the steps. I mean,
But still, even, you know, that's something you can't practice. You know, it's
can't
like
practice,
you
you
can
just-
think it in your head, but
yeah. But if you have a plan in your head and you can follow your plan,
Yeah.
you know.
You don't do that in training when you're doing EMS or policing or anything
Well,
like that? Just
a lot of
you
your
have
training in that is more
We train in heavy
of
stuff
how
like
to
that.
get in a vehicle and what to do for care once you're in that vehicle. And then I did a lot of fire training where they put the full,
If we do a ditching,
yeah.
as Blake's in it,
What you
we
do-
train it so we, in the water, when the plane goes down.
In
the
the
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
we do all those scenarios and we can't see anything, can't hear anything. And so I was wondering, you know, if y'all did law enforcement or.
We
EMS,
didn't. We
you
had
put y'all underwater and
we
see what it's
had,
like.
which we had, I'm sure they have at Hardeman County also, we had certified divers that work
Yeah.
for EMS or for rescue.
You know, speaking of that training, I have done the training where I've gotten the water with full gun belt and boots, and that's a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
I don't know if Scott's
Yeah.
done that, but man,
That's what I mean.
when you get in there with boots and a gun belt,
it's kind of like, you know, like
you don't
I
have long. You can only fight that if without a life jacket, and so if you're in a vehicle, you know, you're gonna have footwear on. And clothes, whether
Yeah.
it's
Wet
jeans,
clothes
and
are gonna
even
add
just
10 or
jeans
15
or,
pounds.
Yeah,
or a
so
coat.
That weight's going
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you had on a big heavy Carhartt coat or something, then that's a whole different ball game of getting wet.
And, you know,
Or waders.
and I've seen people to where they've actually, you know, it's several videos out where people have showed about if you fall, you know, they're in a swimming pool, but they're like falling in with full chest waders on.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing about that is you're going to want to float up in your head and all is going to want to go down.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
And I mean, that's why you pretty much, when you're duck hunting, I mean, I fell in with hip boots before, but I was able to pop right back up. But
And you know, another thing, not as much now as later, but you know, water temperature.
Yes.
You know, that shock of the cold.
and that's
water.
where the waders are going to come in, because you know, most time you're going to have them on during duck season. The water temperature is probably going to be in the. I mean, you could die of hypothermia with water temperatures in the low 60s.
No doubt.
You know,
Yeah.
No doubt.
and because it happens all the time. So what else you got, Bubba?
No, let's just this weekend boating. You know, we're going to have a lot of people out there. You know,
Is squirrel season still open right now? I think don't it close Saturday or Sunday?
it closes here coming up. I'd have to look up.
Yeah,
the
I
exact
think
date.
it's pretty close right now. You know, just curious if anybody's seeing a lot of posts chime in.
Yeah.
You know, Janet had two behind her house the other day. I haven't
I
haven't
saw
seen
one him with one pope, but there could have been more, and I didn't mess with her. I went on pasture.
Any. Yeah. Scott, you seen any up around Chickasaw?
I haven't seen any yet.
What was the final total up there? Last time I saw was 4.
I truthfully haven't looked at the final total.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of any more being killed.
Okay. Yeah, because
I
it
bet
stayed
it
4
was
for a
4.
pretty long
Yeah.
time, and I didn't think it any more coming in either. But you know, I mean, it looked like we had a good season. You know, over 32,000. Of course, I'm sure that'll translate to 55 by the time they do phone interviews. But you know, that's just the way it is. You know, got velvet season coming up. A lot of people already preparing for their deer season.
Yes.
You know, and of course,
know,
Keith, I know with the food
I
plots.
was
but,
talking to
we're pretty busy.
Philip White today, and he said he saw a nice buck today. Already a
I've
nice
got a
buck.
really pretty one on camera, and I'm excited about
Yeah.
it.
where we were.
No, sir.
Yeah, right.
No, actually, my batteries are dead there. This is actually on the different farm.
Well, I mean, I do know we saw a couple of them that day, and you could just tell by their side, you know, I mean, gosh, their front brisket stood out 10 inches, you know, in front of the legs. I mean, you could just tell. Of course, and they were still dark gray. They did not have any summer red on them
That's
at all.
right.
You know, Anthony, we were talking earlier, you know, in some of those air leaf clover plots we got, you know, some of those deer are still just hammered in there.
Yes.
Big time.
You know, and that's the thing about them. I don't know what it is, but we found this plot, 5 years ago or something, 4, and it seems like it holds more bucks than it does does this time of year. But what I found is it'll pull bucks from other areas, and it's kind of like, you know, they're just out cruising. And then when they find that, they say, "Dang man, I kind of like this place," and they stick around. You know.
Yeah. And then we were talking earlier about your fall food plots and the does lactating and the study I saw where, you know, one doe at night during night can consume up to 9 pounds of forage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Foliage. And so imagine if you have a 1 acre food plot and you have 12 does.
Yeah, and think about it.
They're taking care of it pretty quick.
It's hard to get those small soybean plots and high deer densities. They just mow them down.
Tough.
They just mow them down.
Yeah, that's tough.
And especially when they stay like they are right now, because we're not getting no rain. So
we've
they're
got
only
to-
staying at 2 to 4 inches, and the deer can get in there.
If we don't get rain in the next week, we're going to be some serious problems on some of the agriculture and food plots and
I've
pasture.
heard of some people even having to replant after that big hailstorm that you went in the other
Yeah.
day.
Oh, yeah.
Was going to replant some beans yesterday after one of the storms.
Yeah, and those hailstorms pop up here and there.
Yes.
So, but we've got Keith. We're looking at the weather. I guess it's Sunday.
80%.
80% chance. So hopefully, 80% of the
I hope
area
I'm
get some measurable rain.
I need it. I need it bad.
I think everybody just about does.
Yeah.
Unless,
Scott, you got any final words? You know, remind everybody again about the fishing rodeo at Chickasaw this weekend.
Yeah, registration starts at 8 a.m. Saturday morning by the swimming area. The fishing starts at 9 a.m. We've got plenty of prizes and stuff to give out to the kids, so be sure to bring your kids out there for it.
They got to bring their own rod and reels.
Yeah, they have to provide their own bait and rod and reels and stuff like that. But the fish are there to be caught. So.
Okay. And then for anybody that didn't hear too, you know, it's free fishing day, 15 and under. And well, it's free fishing day for everybody
on the South.
But in certain rodeos there's an age limit. But you know, if you're 15 and under, then it's free fishing all the way through till next Friday, starting this Saturday. That's about all I got.
I'm gonna
Todd,
say hi. I know Mr. Bill Ramsey. I know he's watching.
Okay.
I know he's watching, and he and I have become really good friends. I'm getting ready to go up and meet him and look at some of his property.
all right.
And
Appreciate you watching, Bill.
Yeah, just wanted to, you know, we have some very faithful.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Ain't no doubt.
And I know that I could probably name several hundred of them, but I just wanted to.
Randy Walls, I have to give
Randy
him credit.
Walls,
He's
yeah,
probably our number one
fan number one,
Yeah,
Randy.
He'll have to put a good one.
He's an old Bolivar boy living up in around Indianapolis right now,
Yeah.
but he's a good guy.
He left a pretty good comment right when the show
Yeah.
started. It's pretty funny. So.
Todd, will you keep us posted on, you know, if you get with Mike Butler and
I
any
will.
changes about the Hatchie River on the National Register?
Certainly will.
And if, you know, anything coming up, you know, in the county-wide you want us to put out, or feel free to stop by. You know, we're here on
anytime
Tuesday
you
night.
want.
Having a
I
mayor,
appreciate
you
this.
know, and
This is
having a
great.
mayor that supports
Yes,
the
sir.
outdoors and the community the way you do. That's Hardeman County's lucky.
And I appreciate what y'all do here. This is great. And promoting Hardeman County, we have great things going on in Hardeman County, and we welcome people and come out. And I tell people all the time, come spend a little money with us before you leave.
You know, I know,
You know,
and
that's just one of my
you know,
phrases.
Mayor Matizzi,
I like that.
You know, in all fairness, him too. You know, working on Sand Beach Lake, Bubba and I are on the committee down there.
Yeah. Good job.
Hopefully, when they get that amphitheater built down there, we're going to do our live show from down there one night.
We have one in Brownsville, and it has become so popular. And I know we're running over time. For the community, that amphitheater has been amazing.
Good. Well, have you seen the lake down there where we're going to do it?
I have not.
You need to go check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, they have turned that place into a beautiful park.
Oh,
down
without
there.
a doubt. And there's still more plans in the
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually
Good for
surprised me.
Hardeman County.
Yeah.
Good for the
It
community.
should- Yep. All right, that's it. Anybody got anything else?
Next week, we're going to go over, Michael Clark going to go over the Alabama bass and the Asian carp.
Asian carp.
Yep.
And so that'll be a good one for a lot of people to stay
Yep.
tuned, especially the tournament fishermen.
Yep.
I'm just going to tell you, it'll be a good one.
The boys are leaving this weekend to fish.
Yeah, wasn't that what they said, leaving this weekend,
Good
Janet?
luck, good luck to the guys.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Good luck
yeah.
to them.
Good luck to all high school, because I'm telling you,
And USJ has a team. I saw all
I
this
wish they
going.
had that when I was in high school.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
maybe
would've-
it
I
would
would've
have kept me
maybe-
out of a little more trouble.
Yeah, I would have studied a little more.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Let me
Hey,
know.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see y'all next
Enjoyed
week.
it.
We
Enjoyed
appreciate
it
all of
very
our
much.
viewers and sponsors. And tune in next week, same time. See you. Bye.
It worked out great.